It's G Holy from gholy.com, and today we got a special edition. I'll be uploading top 9 underrated albums, part 1 and 2. This is a series, maybe a 3 to 5 part series. So if you don't see your favorite album on this top 9 or the next top 9, that does not mean it won't go. Actually, after you subscribe and comment and like, make sure you leave who you want to see in the description, next for the next edition. So here we go. Memphis Bleek 534. Why? Bleek raps like you've never seen him before. Lyrically, he's along the lines of what you expect, but the urgency in his voice is as new as the umph he's rapping with. It's an almost indescribable quality. Think about 50 Cent on Get Rich, then listen to his previous works. It's that, with Just Blaze Bink and Ninth Wonder handling the bulk of the production. A full Jay-Z song and Memphis Bleek in his prime. What's not to love? There's no way to sell how great this album is, given that nobody has seen Bleek on this level. You just have to listen. How? By 2005, Rockefeller's issues had hit full tilt. At the same time, Def Jam was switching staff and direction. Like that had some radio push. It's not like the album didn't have any support, just nothing like its previous efforts. The Rock was cooling down as Meth Man and Young Guns attempted to keep the flag raised. That was number 1. If you only listen to one song, 534, produced by Just Blaze. Number 2, The Game, Jesus Piece. Why? The most focused album the game has ever put together. Jesus Piece's theme is just that. Jesus and God, oddly enough, overlay all of the gangster shit he's spitting. Titles like Pray, Church, Heaven's Arms, See No Evil, and Hallelujah drive the point home. Production-wise, this is probably still the most cohesive Game album. Cool and Dre, Sap, Boy Wonder, Black Metaphor, and K. Roosevelt all handle business. Features from Kendrick Lamar, Pusha T, Big Sean, Lil Wayne, Rick Ross, and the entire music industry, though it doesn't feel crowded. Narrated by Kevin Hart as a worldly man trying to walk a higher path and connect more with the Almighty. How? 2012 was a polarizing year in hip-hop. Chief Keef had arrived and so did his impact. Kid Cudi had successfully brought depressed rap to the mainstream. Those kids also hate gangster rap. Kendrick Lamar was named Messiah and Drake was King. In his 7th year, Chuck's genre had been squeezed to a niche. If you only listen to one song, Ali Boom Aye, featuring Rick Ross and 2 Chainz. Number 3, Method Man, TICAL 2000, Judgment Day. Why? Method Man's in top form. His flows, rhymes, and even subject matter were day and night from Method Man, METHOD Man, the single. Maybe the first Wu-Tang album, RZA doesn't do the majority of the beats, though Prince Raheem does contribute. Fourth Disciple, True Master, Eric Sermon, Mathematics, and LB the Lifebringer handle their part of the load on the 28-track album. Around 10 skits, though. Oh, can't forget Inspector Deck has beats on here too. Even more interesting, not heavy on Wu features either. Only Deck and Capadonna make their way onto 2000. Somehow, still very clannish. This album takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where Method Man somehow thrives despite the being leveled with the war and plague. Lastly, Janet Jackson, Donald Trump, Chris Rock, and Ed Lever all have their own skits on this album. How? In late 1998 on Def Jam, Nuff said, if you watch backstage the documentary detailing the Hard Knock Life tour, this one isn't a puzzle. Method Man and Redman were the opening act opening for an act who just signed the previous year on Hard Knock Life tour. The label shifted focus from whatever Meth and Red were doing to the hyper street shit DMX, Jay-Z, and Ja Rule were doing. With only one album, the far less than critically acclaimed TICAL to his name, He didn't have the leverage to demand the attention needed to get an album like this off the ground. To Method Man's credit, RZA's house flood ruined the original TICAL, Life. If you only listen to one song, Cradle Rock, featuring Lisa Left Eye Lopez. Number 4, Jeezy Seen It All. Why? This may not be Jeezy's magnum opus, but it's for sure his masterpiece. Even the best Jeezy albums you can critique from a pure musical standpoint, not Seen It All. 12 songs of propane, his best batch of beats, by far his best rhymes, and the most vivid he's ever painted, The Game. Originally titled The Statute of Limitations Is Over With, so, you know, his most personal album to date still, See Holy Ghost. He brought Akon back in traditional fashion, made his best song with Jay-Z, yes, Better Than Go Crazy, and patched it up with Rick Ross on Beautiful. Also featuring The Game, 2020 Pyrex Vision. How? How did this happen? Jeezy was approaching his 8 years in the game, and honestly had a stigma of not being able to grow musically. This also happened to 50 Cent when he refused to make introspective cuts. Plus, his relationship with Def Jam had somewhat soured around the time he and Ross were beefing. Rose may have had something to do with it. The building loved him, and Jeezy's people were exiting. Ross has even alluded to that in an interview. If you only listen to one song, Beautiful, featuring Rick Ross and The Game, produced by Tony Ray. Black Metaphor, he's coming up a lot. Sheesh. Number 5, Drake, Scorpion. Why? Drake has a classic album. The first half of 2018 Scorpion is a flawless score. Raps are too good, too much sauce. A lot of these joints don't even have real hooks. He snapped. The second half of this double disc only gets muddy with the first 2 songs. After those records, even though the R&B is present, side number 2 is still solid. Solid. Pusha lit a fire under Drake that Kanye had already set the stage for. He was fuming at the thought of either of them, and it made for the most aggressive, unapologetic Drake. If he came in the game possessing this street feel and edge, there'd be less questions about his GOAT status. How? Pusha T. He stole a bit of Drake's thunder with his W in the battle, though Drake had the better record. It took some focus off the album and even the singles. The whole album rollout had a weird 10 on it. It just wasn't received like a normal Drake album. That, along with the fact that Drizzy was no longer the lone rapper at the top, several newer rappers on the come up were chipping away at his fan base and popularity, especially in the streets. If you only listen to one song, Emotionless, produced by 40, The 25th Hour, and No ID. Number 6, Ray SREMMURD, SREMMLIFE. Why? Man, this shit is good music. It's fun, well written, and serious when it needs to be. Mike Will made it was in his prime. A+ for Air Drummers, Sunny Digital, Sounds, Young Chop, and Sway Lee himself all contributed to SREMMLIFE. It was the perfect storm. I know grown people look at Ray SREMMURD like Crisscross. While I wouldn't say the groups are day and night, I can tell you early Crisscross never spit anything like, bitch, I say what I want. I do what I want. I grew up on pop. I can't vouch for anything else they ever did, but this is straight through listen. How? They just got written off. Not having a street presence nor being emo left them just the pop crowd, the pop rap crowd. No matter what you do in this position, your music won't be taken seriously. It performed well, but wasn't taken the way Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly was, released the same year. If you only listen to one song, Up Like Trump, produced by Sunny Digital. Number 7, Beanie Sigel, The Be Coming. Why? Amidst the turmoil that was the Rockefeller split and an attempted murder trial, Beanie Sigel somehow found himself musically. While Bleek, who appears earlier on the list, went with Jay-Z in the new rock, B-Mac dropped this gem on Dame Dash Music Group. Later, Sigel would say he never chose to go with Dame, but that's another article. The Becoming is everything 2000's The Truth album by Beanie Sigel could have been. The Truth was great. The Reason had elements The Truth didn't. But The Becoming is the fusion along with a new sense of urgency given the circumstances. Young Chris, Redman, Grand Puba, Cameron, Petey Crack, and Bun B all shine as guests. If you're familiar with the Public Enemy #1 mixtape that dropped months prior to The Becoming, you know the space he was mentally in and lyrically. Tried to charge me for an attempt, disrespecting my aim. Sheesh. How? Beanie Sigel was never the biggest star. The premier role player at Rockefeller with M-Eazy trailing close second. 50 Cent G-Unit took the streets and Jeezy was heating up. Not to mention The Becoming was released while Beanie Sigel was in the middle of serving a 1 year and 1 day sentence on a federal gun charge. If you only listen to one song, Feel It in the Air, featuring Melissa, produced by Heavy D himself, the legend. 8. Busta Rhymes, The Becoming. Why? Not the most underrated album, but when we speak on debuts, it's super underrated. This is one of the best debut albums of all time. Yes, Busta Rhymes was a certified star before The Coming with his gravelly delivery anchoring Leaders of the New School sound. Yes, he was world famous for his scenario performance, his other works with Tribe, and the Flavor in Your Air remix verse. Busta was still a rookie as a solo act. And on this album, he proved he was here to stay. DJ Scratch, the umph, and the legend Easy Mo B give Busta the perfect bop to do that Busta thing on. Pause. Not only features though, Danko D and Charlie Brown reunite with Busta Bus on Keep It Moving. That was my shit. And Rampage the Last Boy Scout appears on 3 separate tracks. Time to put Busta on that top rap debut list. That shit is criminal. I don't know why they be leaving Busta off the top rap debut list, but that shit is fire. Classic. How? Busta had a 6-year career before this release. If you only listen to one song, Abandoned Ship featuring Rampage the Last Boy Scout, produced by Busta Rhymes. And last, but definitely not least, number 9, 50 Cent, War Angel LP. Why? This was technically a mixtape, but as the title implies, it's at least an album style effort with all original production. Dr. Dre even shows up, producing the lead single. Okay, you're right. It's my shit. Not too much to say. War Angel is the epitome of a hip-hop project. This album is debatably flawless, depending on if you like the acquired taste of the 70s inspired Cocaine featuring Robin Thicke. 50's hidden gem. War Angel can go head to head with Get Rich or Die Trying any day. And I mean head to head, but I didn't say it was going to win. I'm saying it's a flawless album. How? People were over 50 Cent, his stunts, his personality, clothes, and especially his musical efforts. Too bad for them. If you only listen to one song, Cream 2009, produced by Six Figure of Young Gun's Can't Stop, Won't Stop fame. And another thing about the 50 album is he had that skit where he did the whole, at the end of Cream 2009 when he was like, yo, he predicted rappers wearing dresses and shit. It was crazy. Like that, I don't think that happened until like 2014 or so. So yeah, it was dope. But other than that, man, this is part 1. The top 9 underrated albums. We got part 2 dropping today. So if you see this, then that's right behind it. You know what I mean? So you can go do that too. Watch both of these, like, comment, subscribe. I don't mean to sound like a YouTuber and shit, but do all them things. And yeah, we be back though.